in Nebuchadnezzar's dream, he has this statue, this dream of a statue, and it's talking about the kingdoms that are going to come after him, their head being gold, and then you've got the silver, and then you've got the brass, and then you've got the iron, you've got the clay and iron feet. But it's also described as four beasts. Now, man looks at that statue and says, oh, that's wonderful, and that's how mankind sees it. But God himself sees them as beasts, so he goes on to describe this statue later on as four beasts. But there's three of them that are much different. And the fourth one is actually a bit of all the other beasts in that final beast. And it doesn't look like any other beast. It's more ferocious. It's more terrible. It's more horrible. And Daniel's looking at this beast going, this fourth beast is way different than these other beasts. And there's a reason for it. It's because the fourth beast, the final one, before Jesus sets up his millennial kingdom and brings judgment on the earth, this fourth beast is actually the one that actually rules the world, whereas the other ones do not do this. You could see that this fourth beast is actually Rome, but it sort of transforms right at the very end, and this is where we talk about the last 7 years, where you see the Antichrist kingdom is actually set up, and then the Antichrist starts to rule. Then I wanted to know more about this fourth beast, which is not like any of the others. The terrifying beast which crushes victims with its bronze claws and iron teeth. So remember that the statue of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, it was made of iron and there was bronze in it. It's talking about the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire, the last two. The iron teeth is actually Roman imperialism. So what is imperialism, you say? Well, imperialism is when a country exercises power over another through various methods of control. It describes an economic, political, and social system in which one country subjugates others and brings them under its control. And this is what we actually see with the Caesars. So the Caesars were actually doing this. They were actually coming out from Rome, and then they were sent out. You got Julius Caesar, you got Pontius Pilate, who was a Caesar. You got the Tsars in Rome, which were actually from Rome. They were spelled Tsar. So the Russian word Tsar is just the Russian way of saying Caesar. It's exactly the same thing. They were sent out from Rome, and they were there to rule those countries. That's how Roman imperialism works, right? Well, the point is exactly the same thing is happening right now with the World Economic Forum, with COVID. It's actually just another form of government control. And the scriptures make it very clear that our job is to restrain, is to resist these things that are going on. We're not meant to be standing around and saying, oh no, she'll be right. Our job is to say, no, what you're doing is wrong.
What we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are for our actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now. Mm-hmm. I mean, with the president, who is a young global leader, but...
Now, a lot of Christians got up and said something about there was something wrong during COVID and stood their ground because they knew our job was to resist. But there was a lot of Christians that didn't understand that. And they just stood around and just went with the flow and took the injection because they were worried about things like losing their houses, losing their business. And it's true, they would have. A lot of them would have. But they were afraid, and they didn't stand up, and so they just went with the flow. But our job as Christians truly is to resist. So when you see this, our job is to resist. We're actually in the transition phase right here. We've got the 2 feet. A lot of people don't understand this, but the 2 feet, you've got the Caesars and the Tsars. They all serve Rome. That's what's actually happened before. That's why you've got the term Tsar. It's just another Roman way for saying Caesar.